The Nintendo Direct began the same way that every good Nintendo Direct should, with me spamming the chat with the words monkey time. No, I wasn't hoping for a new Donkey Kong game. I was just hoping that Nintendo would go apeshit. So, did they?
Just gotta make sure no one figures out our secret identities.
Not really, but I'm relatively happy with this Direct anyway. It gave me a lot to talk about. So let's go through item by item so that I can explain exactly why I have a lot to say. Oh, also, here was my list of predictions. We'll definitely talk about this a little bit later. After Monkey Time was over, Nintendo hit us with a reveal trailer for the newest Smash Bros. DLC fighter. And my reaction went a little something like this. Oh, Clouds? New Kid Icarus game? Nope. It's Xenoblade. Alright, Rex is in Smash.
One day, Pyra just disappeared.
Oh, wait, Pyra's missing? Maybe this is DLC. Well, that's good. If a game from 2017 can get new DLC, maybe there's a chance for games that actually need it, like Super Mario Party.
I got an invitation to join Smash!
Holy shit! Then I texted my cousin to see if his brother,
The Xenoblade fan,
was watching. You know, even though I would have preferred someone more iconic like Crash or Spyro or Rayman or Sora or Doomguy or Kratos or please, Cat from Gravity Rush, I'm honestly okay with this. While I can't defend Pyra and Mithra the way I did Hero and Sephiroth, I've never had a huge problem with anime sword fighters. Plus, I recently purchased a copy of Xenoblade, and it's a really good game. I don't like it very much, definitely not my thing at all, but it is a good game, and I am so happy for Xenoblade fans. Although, a lot of them don't seem to be very happy for themselves. But other than that, not much interesting happened for a while. Fall Guys was announced for Switch about 6 months after everybody stopped caring about Fall Guys. Outer Worlds got a trailer, which is weird because Outer Worlds is definitely a game that should not be played on Switch specifically. It's definitely a better choice to play on PS4 or Xbox. Also, what the fuck is a Samurai Warriors 5, and could they have picked a more generic name? After that, they showed one of those pixel art turn-based JRPGs that we get in every Direct, and I'm just gonna say it looks way too generic, and I just do not care. Ooh, but that new Monster Hunter is coming out soon, and I genuinely might cop. I've never played a Monster Hunter before, but lately I've just been itching for a game where you use a big-ass sword to kill big-ass monsters. I was thinking I'd pick up a copy of Neo or Dark Souls, but this seems way more my speed. Also, that special edition Switch is looking very nice. And that's another thing that was on my list of predictions. After that, they announced a new Mario Golf, and this was the hardest the chat popped off all stream. What the fuck? No, actually, I get it. It looks good. I'm definitely gonna get this. Am I gonna get it on launch? No! I'm gonna wait till the next generation when Switch games drop to about $30. Look, I bought a full-price copy of Mario Tennis Aces. I did my part for Mario sports games. Just let me vibe, please. Alright. Speed Round, Tales from the Borderlands, Capcom Arcade Stadium, Stubbs the Zombie, New No More Heroes, Neon White, DC Superhero Girls! I don't really have anything to say about any of these, other than the fact that they all look pretty good. And I'm glad that Nintendo Switch has such a diverse lineup of upcoming games, but damn, was the chat angry about all of these. Oh, and that new Plants vs. Zombies. I genuinely thought that this series was dead. I'm glad to see that it isn't, though I am a little too old to still be interested in these games. But I did grow up playing PvZ, and I hope that the younger Switch owners can enjoy this series as much as I did. Okay, now here is something I didn't see coming. Not a Wii U port, but a 3DS port. Okay, that's okay. I don't know, this made a lot of people really happy. Metopia is pretty fondly remembered, and I think I might be the only person I know who has never owned a copy. I never had a 3DS. I begged and begged my parents, but never got one, so I've missed out on, everything. I saved up my money for like 2 years and bought a 2DS, and then like 2 months later the Switch was officially revealed, and by the time I had enough money to start buying 3DS games, the Switch was the only thing anyone cared about. And stores that sold 3DS games were virtually non-existent. Yeah, that was a real kick in the teeth. But anyway, I might get this just to kill that nasty case of FOMO I got. Metopia, 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 Metopia. Although $50 for a 3DS port is a bit steep, even with the tiny crumbs of new content they unveiled. They also unveiled Super Mario 35th Anniversary Animal Crossing furniture, and it looks pretty cool, but I have lost all interest in New Horizons, so it's unlikely I'll interact with any of these new items. The lack of content in this game is really starting to hurt. But those warp pipes are a massive game changer. I'm out of bridges, almost out of inclines, and it takes way too long to get around my island. I am in desperate need of some warp pipes. After that, Shinya Takahashi made another appearance this direct. It's far from the first one he made, but let's be honest here, it's kind of the only one that mattered. And he talked about 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I don't know if this counts for the predictions list because this game is already out and it's not an announcement of a new Wii U port, but I'm gonna check that one off anyway. Then they announced Triangle Strategy Project. I am only mentioning this because I thought it was Fire Emblem Three Houses DLC, and then I saw the art style and I was like, oh, Octopath DLC. And then I heard the dialogue and I was like, this sounds like every single Dragon Quest ever. Oh, and the worst part? The gameplay actually is nearly identical to Fire Emblem and 13 Sentinels, except both of those games are visually distinct from all other art styles. Basically, what I'm saying is, this could be literally any RPG. I don't know, I just expect better from Square Enix. Anyway, Star Wars Hunters is a thing that got announced. We don't know anything about it because the trailer was like 10 seconds long and completely void of gameplay knowledge, but I am excited to see a company other than EA ruin Star Wars for a change.
These are pretty cool bananas.
Speaking of EA, oh boy did they pull an EA. They had like a 2-minute long trailer that was just so painful. They had these super awkward interviews for fictional characters that I've never heard of, and it turned out none of it had anything to do with the dodgeball game they were announcing. The dodgeball game.
Bladed war axe, spear of misery, Hades soul-devouring crossbow.
Blitzer constantly whizzing past you.
And kick some serious ass!
I think I want to die, and it's all EA's fault.
And after that, we got a pretty interesting trailer from the creators of Drag That Ronpa. Did I pronounce that correctly? I don't care. Anyway, this game looks pretty fun, but I don't see myself buying a copy. Maybe I'd be more interested if I had played any of the Dragon Romper games. I kinda want to, but I never see any copies of Dang, That's a Rope being sold at any stores, so it might be a while before I care about Dig Dug Rip Rap or World's End Club. Speaking of things I only kind of care about, Hades got a physical copy. Now I'm kinda glad I never bought the game because now I don't have to buy it twice. It's definitely about time I picked up the biggest indie game of 2020. Continuing on the topic of things I want but don't care about at all, the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. Yeah, this isn't gonna end well. First of all, when people think Ninja Gaiden, they think of the old school 2D arcade game from the 80s. No one sees this and thinks, oh yeah, the beloved franchise my dad talks about. They think, oh, that's generic ninja hack and slash, and that's exactly what this reboot was. Sure, they're quality titles, but from what I've played, they're nothing special. And with Sekiro Shadows Die Twice released in 2019 and Ghost of Tsushima released in 2020, we're not exactly starved for ninja-based hack and slashes. I just find it kind of hard to believe that a collection of games from a relatively niche franchise from the PS3 and Xbox 360 is going to garner much attention from modern audiences, especially on a Nintendo console. So, after 6 lackluster announcements in a row, how are they going to win back our favor? Age of Calamity DLC.
Oh boy! My favorite game!
Yeah, I feel like an expansion pass is the last thing this game needs. Sure, it has a lot of negatives, but it's not exactly lacking in content. If you are one of the dumbasses that likes this mindless clusterfuck of a game, you could easily milk about 100 hours out of a single playthrough. Adding new content is like slapping a band-aid on a rabies victim. Yeah, the doctor will get paid an unreasonable amount of money, but they're not fixing the problem. They're ignoring it and hoping everyone forgets. And Nintendo does this with every flawed game. The amount of content is never the problem. The problem is the quality of the content. It honestly feels like Nintendo would rather distract us with shiny new characters rather than fix the fundamental flaws that make so many of their recent games so controversial. Alright, Speed Round Part 2. Let's go. Bravely Default. New Ghosts and Goblins. I always love a good retro revival. Saga Frontier. Octopath stole their entire gimmick from this game and thought no one would notice. Apex Legends is now on the only platform too weak to properly run Apex Legends, and it only took 2 years. But you know what? None of that other trash matters, because now we are in the big boy section. The final 2 announcements. The heaviest hitters. The information we've waited 530 days to get. Shinya Takahashi reappears yet again to tell us that the best is yet to come, and then he snaps. The screen fades to black, and suddenly the great Eiji Aonuma appears before us. Before he can even speak his first sentence, the chat goes wild. Everybody believes he is here to talk about Breath of the Wild 2. And then he utters that single sentence that broke the hearts of thousands.
Unfortunately, we don't have anything to share right now.
Believe me when I tell you that this is the hardest I have laughed in a while. Like, yeah, I was genuinely upset too, but this is just so painfully funny. Anyway, our boy Aonuma was here to announce that Skyward Sword is being re-released on Switch. Oh boy, my least favorite Zelda game is coming to Switch. I really hope this isn't the only thing they're doing for the 35th anniversary, because Zelda deserves so much more than this. And seriously, of all games, Skyward Sword? Why not a Link's Awakening style remake of Zelda 1 and 2? Why not 4 Swords with online? Why not an HD collection like Mario? Why take what is arguably the worst Zelda game and make it what is apparently the only anniversary release? Like, I get that a lot of people think this game is near perfect, but do you ever notice how all of those people grew up playing this game and or it was their first Zelda? Yeah, that's kind of a weird coincidence, huh? I seriously do not like this game at all. I played for the first time last year and it was awful. But hey, they made the motion controls optional, which could fix like 90% of the game's problems and actually make it worth my time. Now, is it worth the $60 price tag when the original release was $50 for a physical copy of the game, a physical copy of the soundtrack, and a special edition Wii Motion Plus Wiimote? Yeah, no. Especially not when the Wii U port was $20. Like, I get that it's gonna cost extra because they reworked the controls and Switch cartridges are expensive to produce, but is it really worth $40 extra per game? I don't think it is. But hey, those special edition Joy-Cons are really nice and probably worth the $80 price tag. Definitely the highlight of the Direct for me. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan and I am in desperate need of new Joy-Cons. Mine have been drifting ever since, about 2 months after I bought them. I just hope Nintendo fixes the drifting problem before they release these. I really don't think I can afford to spend $80 on a new controller, but I know I cannot afford to spend $80 on a controller that does not work. Honestly, I was a little disappointed at this point, but fortunately Nintendo had one last game to show us. And just like the Smash reveal, I'm going to reenact my reaction. Oh, is this Pokemon? It looks like Pokemon. But this doesn't look like a location from the Sinnoh region. Maybe Final Fantasy? Nah, that doesn't make sense for the last announcement in a Nintendo Direct. Oh no, a cartoony art style? People are gonna hate whatever this is. Holy shit, wait, Splatoon? Okay, is it a game or more DLC? It looks like DLC. Wait, they removed genders? Does this mean it's new? Haha, Statue of Liberty. Wait, a train? Like, Octo expansion? So this is DLC. Holy shit, Inkopolis? It looks so different. This is a new game. Fuck yeah! 2 Splatoons on one console? That's awesome. So yeah, the last announcement of the day was Splatoon 3. That's pretty sick. And it got a release year before Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid Prime 4. That's hilarious. We really got 2 new Splatoons on Switch before a single new Metroid or Star Fox. Also, the entire Splatoon franchise occurred without a single new Punch-Out, F-Zero, Kid Icarus, or Mother game. Can you say dead franchises? But all in all, not a bad Direct. Not great, but not bad either. A lot of people seem to be very upset about this one, and I totally get where they're coming from. But I'm happy with what we got. I set my expectations super low and got pleasantly surprised. I give it a 6 out of 10. A pretty good Direct, but definitely not worth the wait. Also, Nintendo really needs to learn the meaning of quality over quantity. Yeah, 50-minute Nintendo Direct sounds cool, but that number is utterly meaningless if it's 70% filler and most people can only remember like 4 announcements. But other than that, I'm happy. It was just so hard being a Nintendo fan last year, especially on top of all the real-world problems we were already dealing with. I was so tired. I felt like that Yes Babe Wojak. It's just nice to see things getting a little better with the company we use to distract ourselves from our problems.